Interesting contest. Christy Wallace against Sammy Wickham. I think that'll be a great one to watch. You know, Kayla George with the Chloe Bibby matchup. Amy Atwell's been impressive for the Perth Lynx. This is going to be an interesting contest.
So the action about to get underway in Perth. Sammy Wickham averaging a tick under 16 points per game. And Robbie Ryan also having the start tonight for the Perth Lynx. And has just started to work herself well into the lineup over recent games.
So we clearly called that one incorrectly. Alex Sharp's back to the bench and Robbie Ryan's back into that starting spot.
So the action in Perth about to get underway. The Lynx up against the Boomers. The Boomers currently sitting in third spot with a 3-1 record. And Perth just outside the top four at the moment. Lost their opening two games to the Boomers and to the Bendigo Spirit, but have had back-to-back wins to get themselves back to 2-2 on the competition ladder heading into this match against the Boomers this evening. So the opening tip in Perth, and the visitors will get the opening possession of the game through Wallace. Nelson Adoda back to Wallace, likes to go inside, and Kayla George, the opening basket of the night for the Boomers.
And that basket puts Kayla George becomes the 7th all-time scorer in the WNBL.
So Perth can't make the shot. Mitchell comes up with the rebound. George. Nelson Adoda under all sorts of pressure. Nice little turnaround jumper from her.
Shakes, bakes, spins, shoots a turnaround. Tough shot over a big hand of Scherf.
College basketball at Connecticut. There's good defensive pressure there from George. Mitchell now. Up the floor. George thinks about the three.
The veteran Mia Murray dumps it back to George. Great little two-game between those two. Know each other exceptionally well. Played together for a long time at the Townsville Fire. Mia Murray, a great veteran, savvy IQ, as Robbie Ryan puts on the floor, spits it out, swing past to Sammy Wickham. Step back three, down!
Well, that's what they needed. Wickham hits the big three, and Perth are on the board after Melbourne came up with the opening 6 points of the game. Wallace, Murray, Nelson Adoda finds Kayla George. Little dump pass inside. Nelson Adoda has the ball blocked. And Ryan up the floor. Ball almost knocked away. Scherf receives the ball back.
Mismatch in the rotation's got Christy Wallace on her.
And Ryan does well to come away with a rebound, but the pass picked off by Wallace. And Melbourne are off and running. Wallace drives to the basket. Plenty of pressure on her. Can't get it to fall, and Ryan coming back the other way now for the Lynx. Finds Scherf, uncontested layup. Real breakdown in communication defensively.
Chris Lucas won't be happy with that.
Waller, Mitchell finds George. Murray.
Screener action from the Melbourne Boomers.
And the opening foul called on Lauren Scherf.
Nelson Ododa, great job then to take it at Scherf. Feels she's got the speed advantage.
So the Boomers to inbound. Murray fires for three and hits it from deep. So a really nice start offensively for the Boomers in this game. Ryan going to work under the basket.
Muscles her way to the rim.
Draws the foul.
Barrels Tiff Mitchell out of the way and draws the foul in the process. Robbie Ryan found her way to the WNBL via the State League in Perth.
So Ryan makes the first. And also hits the second. So back to a 2-point margin. Opening quarter in the Cygnett WNBL coming to you this evening from Perth. Earlier tonight, offensive foul called against the Boomers. It was a thrilling victory to the Bendigo Spirit over the Townsville Fire by 2 points.
This one could well be a similar contest. Felt like Melbourne had a little bit of momentum early, but Perth find a way to hang around. Suffer a nice foul there on the screen action by the Melbourne Boomers.
Ryan, pass away to Scherf. Back to Ryan. Scherf looking to drive to the basket, kicks it out, good ball movement, and the Lynx can't get the basket to drop. Rebound taken by Wallace. Murray fires for three and hits it.
The veteran three-point specialist. She's got $100 to donate to the Fighting Period Poverty Round already.
So Murray, 2 3-pointers already, has the off-balance shot rebound by Mitchell. Looking to drive to the basket. Nice work from Mitchell, can't finish it off. And Bibby, nice rebound, finds Whitcomb. Scherf. Looking to go to work on Nelson Adoda.
Kept in front, kept a big hand.
Pass comes inside. George can't reel it in. And Perth will come up with possession. And it has, Gary, already you've seen this game just open up, and it could be a very high-scoring encounter.
It could. I mean, Melbourne like to get out and run. It's typical of Chris Lucas coach teams. They like to play up tempo. They practice that way. They push tempo. They've got guards that can push tempo, and Christy Wallace and Tiff Mitchell. They're a team that can break it open, as we see. Atwell struck the three.
So Amy Atwell, Bibby. Nice transition from the Boomers, and Murray makes it 8 points for the game for her.
And that's what the Boomers do. You score a bucket here, literally within 3 seconds, they're back down the other end with the ball down your throat for a score, as we see Wallace on the break. Hesitates, looks to get it over. Whitcomb not to go for Christy Wallace.
And Edwards comes up with the rebound for the Lynx. Whitcomb now just slowing things down for the home side. Gets the pass back from Edwards. And the foul, as they look to have thrown the ball away, but Edwards knocked over. So third team foul on the Boomers.
Melbourne Boomers done a pretty good job to sort of hurry up the Perth Lynx in their half-court offence, being quite disruptive. Chloe Bibby likes that three.
Just can't get it to fall, and last touch by Edwards. So Melbourne will come up with possession. Midway through the first quarter, and both teams have already shown that they want to promote the basketball and move it up and down the court. Mitchell. Back to Wallace. Finds Murray. Opportunity now for Wallace, short with a three-point attempt. And Atwell with the rebound for the Lynx. Amy Atwell looking to drive to the basket. Pull-up jumper from her. Can't get it to fall. And Mitchell comes up with a rebound. Atwell called for the foul over the back. Second team foul on the Lynx. So an entertaining start. Let's see if we can go courtside and Greg Hire. Murray dumps the pass off. Nice move under the basket, but the Boomers can't come up with it through Davidson. Whitcomb now for the Lynx. Edwards back to Whitcomb, fires for three, can't get it to fall.
Alex Sharp with the big O board, dumps it inside to Chloe Bibby for the finish. Perth down by 2.
So great teamwork by the Lynx on that occasion, Davidson. Way to Murray. Finds Kayla George. Away to Mitchell. Davidson from close range hits the basket, her first of the night.
She's been impressive for the Melbourne Boomers off the bench. Penina Davidson hits that little short corner too with a nice spit out pass from Tiff Mitchell. As we see Perth Lynx now executing the half court handoff action up high. Edwards trying to back down the bigger, stronger Davidson. Mitchell with the defensive board and off to the races.
Inside pass to George, and Bibby thought she'd got all ball but will be called for the foul. And Kayla George will go to the line to shoot 2. Third team foul on the Lynx.
Shortly, we got the Cygnett shootout. Andrew going up against Kyle.
And CTM Sport takes care of all the travelling off court, so your favourite team can focus on their game. As part of the CTM group, their travel management solutions are competitive, innovative and customised to your unique travel needs. Visit ctmsport.com.au to learn more. So George hits the first.
75% career free throw shooters. Kayla George strokes the second, rattles it in, I should say. Averaging a double-double for her team. Kayla George so far in the season, 14 points a game, 11 rebounds. She's a class act.
So Perth Wickham driving to the basket. Nice move from her. So Melbourne, Murray, George, Davidson.
Scherf packing it off Davidson, daring her to shoot the threes. Mitchell says, I'll take one. I'll get $50.
So Mitchell with the three-pointer. And Melbourne are out by 7 as we close in on quarter time. Scherf. Pass. Sharp can't get it to fall. Mitchell, wonderful work underneath the basket, comes up with a rebound. And Melbourne are off and running again through Mitchell. Into the corner she goes. Oh, lovely pass inside Davidson. Kicks it back out. Another opportunity. And Perth come up with a loose ball. Atwell deflecting it in the direction of Whitcomb.
Sammy Whitcomb with the step back, one-footed three bomb.
So Whitcomb, she did something similar in the game against Bendigo a couple of weeks ago.
That should get $100 for the fighting period poverty round. That was huge.
So George kicks it back out to Burrows. Still with George.
Good denial defence against Mitchell.
Shot clock counting down to 2. Mitchell will have to put it up, off balance shot, can't get it to fall, and it'll be a shot clock violation, didn't touch the ring. This will be a good old-fashioned shootout tonight, the way this is shaping up.
Wow, and some people that can make big shots. That last shot of Whitcomb's, my goodness, she is a classy shooter.
So Whitcomb in possession for the Lynx, finds Scherf. Inside pass, Scherf can't get it to drop, comes up with the rebound, is fouled, will go to the line to shoot 2. And let's go courtside and Greg Heyer. So Scherf at the free throw line, hits the first. And makes the second. So back to a three-point ball game.
All right, how loud can you be? 2 votes.
On track for a game in the 80s with a reasonably high-scoring first quarter.
So Wallace for the Boomers. Finds Mitchell. Mitchell, nice little move from her and is pushed as she got the shot away. So she will go to the foul line to shoot 2.
Alex Sharp with her hands full trying to defend Tiffany Mitchell on that side pick and roll. Mitchell's experience pushing her into that screen, suckering a foul. Tiff Mitchell in fine form for the Melbourne Boomers, averaging 24 points a game. She can score in multiple ways. Great mid-range pull-up jumper. She can get on the rim. She can hit the three.
So Mitchell already having a solid game for the visitors. Making shots, getting rebounds. Just having an outstanding season all up in the Cygnett WNBL. And can't make either. So an opportunity as we close in on quarter time for Perth to level things up as Whitcomb looks to drive to the basket. Off balance jumper, but that makes no difference, and Sammy Whitcomb hits another one.
She's just a class shooter, Sammy Whitcomb, particularly off 1 foot. Leans back on it.
Ball comes away now. Nelson Adoda, shot blocked by Scherf. So Perth have picked it up at the defensive end. Ryan. Still with Robbie Ryan.
7-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock at the end of this first quarter. Back
Scherf.
Scherf.
Gets the basket and is fouled. Will go to the line for the bonus. And Perth, after conceding the first 6 points of the game, have edged in front.
Big one-on-one post play by Scherf. Backed her man down, wheeled and dealed, got the finish. Finds herself at the free throw line to convert the end.
So Scherf with the bonus. Can't get it to fall, so Sharp comes up with a rebound. So it's a win and away. Ball fired across, and from deep they can't get the three-point to fall, and Wallace comes up with a rebound, tries a long pass, and last touch by Davidson, I feel. And Perth will come up with it with about 6 seconds left in the first quarter.
Opportunity for them to score here.
Timeout called.
Timeout called.
What a comeback from Lynx. Give it up to your Perth.
Coaches will diagram something here, get their defence set for Melbourne Boomers. What's Coach Ryan Petrick got in his bag of tricks? 6 seconds to go, full court play. Surely you'd think it's got to involve Sammy Whitcomb, who's on absolute fire to start this game.
Off the court with a variety of digital accessories. The winner's going to win a $50 voucher to spend on any Cygnett products on the website. And it's going to be Andrew.
So Murray leading all scorers for the Boomers with 8 points. Kayla George with 6. Mitchell 3 points and 5 rebounds. Just on 6 seconds left in the opening quarter. And we'll head courtside shortly. It's been a fast-paced opening to this encounter.
That it has up-tempo when they can, both teams not going deep into their half-court offense either. It's tended to be pretty quick once they're into half-court sets. Sammy Whitcomb shooting at 66% from the field. Tough shots overhand, balanced on one leg.
So Perth with an opportunity. Sharp driving to the basket, kicks it out to Whitcomb, fires for 3, can't get it to fall. Quarter time in Perth, and the Lynx have got their noses in front. They lead by the point. Something about tonight. Quarter time in Townsville, 1 point the difference. So they've been close all throughout the evening, but at quarter time, an impressive fight back from the Lynx though after Melbourne got away with the opening 6 points of the game.
Yeah, it looked like Melbourne might have been able to step it up and break out with a lead, but credit to Perth to pull it back. But the shooting of Mia Murray and the shooting of Sammy Whitcomb, as we see here, little step back 3, her signature move.
And then Scherf driving to the basket.
Mia Murray with her answer with a little step back 3 says, you can do that, Sammy Whitcomb. I got that too. Bibby gets into the action with a 3 and a finish on the rim.
So a real even spread of scorers. Davidson, short range jumper, and then Whitcomb, lovely move to the basket. And Sammy Whitcomb just having a really good first quarter for the home side, and Scherf, strong move under the basket. But let's go courtside and Greg Hire.
All right, here we go. As many free throws again. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, Kyle.
A really strong focus there from Christy Harrow, talking to the lineup, talking about just sticking to the basics. There was a couple of letdowns there where there was no rotation, missed box outs, which led to a Kayla Francis second foul, and that's obviously a huge detail of their Melbourne Boomers lineup. Chris Lucas echoed that they need to finish out the play and start getting on the second side of that offensive end. But very pleasing to see a legend like Chris Harrow just talk about keeping it simple, getting back to the basics, and keeping it nice in that regard.
So quarter time in Perth, the second quarter action about to get underway. Our second game in the Cygnett WNBL this evening, earlier tonight, a victory to the Bendigo Spirit over the Townsville Fire by the 2 points. So Bendigo sit alone top of the competition ladder this evening. Terrific contest in Townsville, and this one shaping up the exact same way in Perth. And the Lynx will have the first possession of the second quarter. Richard Swenson and Carrie Graff with you in commentary this evening. Greg Hire courtside. So Burrows finds Ryan. Atwell fires for three from long range, in and out. And Burrows comes up with the rebound for the Lynx. Ryan looking to go to work. Kicks it out. Atwell. Back to Ryan. Shot clock down to 3. Ryan will have to force it up. Nice move. Can't get it to drop. And Kayla George comes up with the rebound. Finds Mitchell. Waits for the numbers to join her up the court. George. Nelson Adoda.
Melbourne Boomers missed the mismatch down low earlier, but Adoda goes against Scherf and finds an easy finish.
And she's going to be called for a travel, so the basket won't count. In fact, they're calling an offensive foul on her. Use of the elbow in getting around Scherf.
The hook.
So Perth, it will be through Bibby to inbound. Burrows. Burrows looks to drive to the basket. Nice move from her. Comes up short. Bibby. Can't come up with a loose ball. And the Boomers come up with possession. So the floor sweepers, once again, plenty of action.
Getting a workout. Physicality in all these games. These WNBL Cygnett games.
Wallace in possession for the Boomers. George. Nelson Adoda. Inside to
Great
George.
seal.
Lovely work from her. Good vision from Wallace.
Good execution by the Melbourne Boomers, setting that up from the get-go. Working Kayla George down low with some screen action. She gets a great seal. They feed it. She completes it.
Scherf now. Looking for some movement. Ryan. Back to Scherf. Fires for three from long range. Can't get it to drop. And George. Strong defensive rebound.
Melbourne Boomers switching on that ball screen action. Scherf settles for the three-point shot over a guard rather than rim rolling. See if she can force that mismatch. Whoa.
So Nelson Adoda.
That won't get you $50.
Now long from that one. Burrows. Kicks it back out. Scherf fires for three this time. It drops.
Exceptional three-point shooter for a post player is Lauren Scherf. Beautiful technique.
Now Murray. So Murray with the basket. Let's go courtside. Greg Hire.
These minutes are quite crucial for the Perth Lynx while Sammy sits on the bench. It's quite refreshing to see a player like Taya Burrows, who doesn't get limited minutes, or is in limited minutes, really making an impact, and her attendance being aggressive, and that's huge for this Lynx lineup.
So Ryan has the shot swatted away. And the Boomers come up with possession. Murray it will be to inbound to Wallace. But again, plenty of pressure up the floor from Burrows.
Murray, Melbourne Boomers leading scorer with 10. She's got her eye in. The veteran three-point specialist. Again, we see half-court execution. Mitchell on the floor with the finish.
Lovely drive to the basket from Tiff Mitchell. And Murray, as you said, 10 points, averaging 11.5 a game. Burrows now. Ryan fires for three. Comes up short. Follows up and grabs her own rebound. Little short jumper. Again, won't fall. So Wallace with the rebound up the floor. Kayla George fires for three and nails it.
Coach Petrick won't be happy with that matchup on D-Trans. Kayla George wide open. She's going to nail that wide open three every time as the trailer.
So Ryan Petrick will call a timeout, and I just want to talk things over. And Melbourne, nice little run for them. And they've got themselves a little buffer on the scoreboard almost midway through this second quarter. And proudly Australian, Cygnett is powering the WNBL with its extensive range of charging products, including power banks for your phone. Thanks to Cygnett, your favourite players will stay charged this season on and off the court. Power your life with Cygnett. Visit cygnett.com.
Coaches talking it over with their respective teams. What adjustments do they need to make defensively? Do they adjust on the ball screen? I think, Perth Lynx have missed opportunities at times when there's been switch action from the Melbourne Boomers. They haven't really attacked that and rolled the big down, see if they can create that mismatch. They've settled for perimeter shots from Scherf. Similarly, at the other end, there's been a couple of times when there's been mismatches, haven't recognised early, and it's allowed the defence to catch up, rotate the bigs back onto the bigs inside.
Well, let's go courtside to Greg Hire and find out what was said during that timeout.
Well, yeah, you can quite imagine there was obviously a massive defensive letdown there with Kayla George stepping into a transition three. Obviously, the positive, that's an extra $50 for this round, but it's a huge letdown for the Perth Lynx.
So Bibby comes up short. Scherf gets the rebound. Oh, great work under the basket from Bibby. Just can't get it to drop. And Wallace moves it up the floor. George back to Wallace, and Melbourne will just slow things down.
Some horns action by Melbourne Boos inside to Kayla George. She'll look for a little reverse or turnaround. Signature move for Kayla George.
So Kayla George comes up with another basket, and Melbourne extend the margin out to 7. Whitcomb
takes her tally to 11. Kayla George,
and the foul called on Murray as Atwell was making a cut to the basket and was bundled over. So Perth will have a side ball.
Little momentum swing Melbourne's way with a 7-point lead. Critical, great inbound to Alex Sharp for the finish.
Lovely move, and again, we're seeing a lot of it so far this season where teams are coming up with these creative moves from the inbound play. So Mitchell, Atwell guarding her. George fires for three. Can't get it to fall. Whitcomb with the rebound for the Lynx. Finds Bibby, back to Whitcomb. Fires for a long-range three. That one won't drop. And Kayla George comes up with a strong defensive rebound for the Boomers.
Got out of jail on that ball screen action. You go under against Sammy Whitcomb, you're asking for trouble.
Mitchell thinks about the three, then looks to drive to the basket. Behind the back pass to George. Now Davidson kicks it out. Wallace fires for three. And Whitcomb comes up with a rebound for the Lynx. Scherf. Inside to Bibby. Lovely move, and Bibby with a left-hand layup.
Tempo push straight back with Christy Wallace. Gets it on the rim. Not quite for her. Back the other way. It's a little up and down now. Sammy Whitcomb looking to push it straight back.
Atwell for three. And the rebound taken by George. And now Wallace just says we'll slow things down a touch. George, top of the key, tries to thread the needle with the pass. And Perth will get possession.
Chloe Bibby's been impressive on the glass for the Perth Lynx.
Sharp. Bibby with 7 points and 3 bounds to date. Averaging over 19 points a game for the Lynx so far this season. Whitcomb. Gandini. Back to Whitcomb, drives to the basket. Nice move.
Wow, she's smart, Sammy Whitcomb. She beats her defender, shifts her position.
Mitchell, great move. Turnaround jump shot, gets it to fall. Again, that counter, that quick counter from the Boomers.
Yeah, it's a signature of Chris Lucas' coach teams. They're going to run it straight back at you on a made basket, see if they can run. 3-point bomb for the Lynx, won't go. On the break again for the Melbourne Boomers. Mitchell at the rim against Whitcomb, finds the finish.
So Mitchell, 4 straight points for the Boomers. Whitcomb.
Mitchell up to 7.
Kicks it out. Opportunity for Gandini. Can't get it to fall. Good strong work under the basket. And Murray with the rebound. Finds Wallace. George under pressure from Bibby. Murray. Back to Kayla George. Fires for 3 and hits it.
Another $50 for the fighting period poverty.
And the Boomers are out by 8.
Interesting to see if Coach Ryan Petrick calls a timeout here.
Whitcomb driving to the basket. Just has it ripped out of her hands by Mitchell. And Mitchell strongly down the floor. Can't get it to drop. Edwards can't come up with the rebound. Kayla George does. Turn around, fires for 3. And Whitcomb now with the rebound for the home side. Finds Bibby. Yep, Sharp has it for Perth. Still with Sharp. 3-point attempt, won't go. Davidson with the rebound. Let's go courtside and Greg Hire.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Kerry's actually coached, because I couldn't agree with you more. I thought there would be a timeout right there and then. And what you're just seeing is just a lot of empty possessions on the Perth Lynx. And right now, yep, you're seeing Sammy Whitcomb dominate, but they need someone else to step up because they're having these empty possessions, which is leading to easy transition points for the Melbourne Boomers.
Wallace. Jump shot from her is good.
Momentum squarely with the Melbourne Boomers now.
We're out by 10. First time the lead has hit double figures. Scherf. Sharp on the wraparound. Under pressure. Kicks it out. Whitcomb fires for 3. And misses everything. Almost a bit of a pressure shot there from Whitcomb. Almost feeling like she was forced to put that one up with the scoreboard going the way of Melbourne at the moment.
Yeah, look, and one thing you know about the Perth Lynx team, they're going to shoot a truckload of 3-point shots. Can you make sure that they're contested threes, not wide open ones? Melbourne Boomers done a reasonable job of getting a hand on a lot as we see it. Back to Kayla George, who's rattles it in. The pull-up jumper on the left hand.
So Kayla George certainly feeling it at the moment. Atwell. Whitcomb. Shot clock winding down, away to Atwell, fires for 3. Amy Atwell comes up with a big play for the Lynx. And it's back to 9, the margin.
Coach Lucas will want to talk about that, not over-helping on the penetration. Can you contain one-on-one so that we don't have to force rotations or force help to allow them to open up those 3-point shooters? As we see Mitchell on the rim, spits it out to the shooter.
And an air ball, and Scherf does well to keep the ball in play. So an opportunity for Perth to close the margin a bit more. Atwell fires for another 3. This one won't drop. And Wallace comes up with a rebound. 2-for-1 opportunity for the Boomers if they want to take it. Turnaround jump shot. Can't. Oh, yes, it does fall.
Falls
through
in for
Burrows. Sophie Burrows. And Perth through Scherf. Get it into the front court. Still with Scherf. Taking on George. Lovely move from Lauren Scherf. Quick two-pointer for her.
6 on the shot clock. They've got to move it. Christy Wallace, is she clock aware? 5 seconds to play in this first quarter. Second quarter, sorry.
Pass comes away. Whitcomb is going to be fouled on the buzzer. But neither team is in foul trouble. So half-time in Perth. And the Melbourne Boomers got a bit of a break towards the back end of that second quarter. And at half-time, the Boomers leading by 9, 45-36.
Well, that second quarter was all about Kayla George, wasn't it? Boy, she was on fire. 18 points, leading her team. 18 points, 5 boards. And you can see here that shooting differential. Melbourne Boomers, 61% from the field. Similarly, the three-point percentage. They're shooting, Mia Murray started that for them. Kayla George got in on the party. Little lower on that free throw percentage, although they haven't been to the line much. 12 assists. Boards are tied up even. 7 turnovers. Chris Lucas won't be too happy with that for the Melbourne Boomers, but they're looking good right now. They've gone into this halftime with momentum, feeling good about themselves. They want to tidy up a few things defensively, but it's certainly heading in the right direction for the Melbourne Boomers.
Well, let's go courtside and Greg Heyer.
Yeah, it wasn't the best defensive display with the Perth Lynx, and we sort of saw that towards the end of that second quarter, that Sammy Wickham and trying to take the responsibility of the plays and just some empty possessions, as I discussed before. And you've got absolutely quality superstars, Tiffany Mitchell, Kayla George, Wallace. These ladies, who are absolutely bona fide world-class superstars, will punish you on the end. What hopefully we'll see on the Perth Lynx side is an ability to stop the defensive transition of play a bit more priority on that, because right now they're leaking points and they really need to sort of knuckle it down in the second half. But fantastic first half. I'm excited to see what's going to happen in this second half.
Courtside Greg Heyer. At halftime in Perth, the Melbourne Boomers with the 9-point advantage. They lead the Perth Lynx 45-36. We'll take a short break and be back with all the second half action very soon.
WNBL season yet, and superstar Lauren Jackson returns. Turn it up. Don't miss a block, basket, or game winner.
Does not steal the win.
WNBL live on 9 now.
Taylor's got it now. A little pop over the top for Jackson. Jackson in the post, working now against McSpadden. And it goes. Flashbacks into the bronze medal game. Here's Jackson inside again. LJ getting busy in the second term. Jackson for 3. Yes, sir.
From the wing, she tries her luck from 3. That one's short. Davison, big offensive rebound. And the bucket. First quarter. Kayla George putting her input on the game as the Boomers run and find Penina Davison. She passes up to 3-5 on the shot clock. Davison needs to go to work. Up and unders in, big bucket, Penina Davison.
Mangakar here. Ryan does well to retain possession. Oh, great work from Robbie Ryan. Now Whitcomb. Inside pass under the basket, and the Lynx.
Very hustle for both teams. Just came off to Perth.
Wraparound pass, Nicholson. Quick ball movement, Reed. receives, back to Nicholson, off the glass. Subs runs into some trouble and the pocket is picked by Nicholson.
That's great defense from Lauren Nicholson. Lauren Nicholson, excuse me. Oh, then an awesome three. There you go. That's it.
Drive into the basket. Kicks it outside. And the three from Mansfield. Comes down with the ball now, Mansfield. Feeling it from outside. Mansfield! And coming down with those rebounds. Mansfield. Fires for three. And hits it, Lauren Mansfield. Pass inside to Munro. Mansfield fires for three and hits it.
Getting really loud as Lauren Mansfield about to shoot another three-point shot.
Prepare your taste buds.
Feeling hungry? Famished.
For 6 delicious nights on 9.
Yeah, to replicate the snack.
Australia's best chefs. Head-to-head, recreating our most iconic snacks.
I think I stuffed this up. Get it together. I know you've got this.
It looks like salt and pepper calamari.
New Snack Masters starts Sunday at 7 on 9.
No, they don't teach MPI schools how to get the money shot.
They're undercover.
What are you doing?
That is how you get the money shot.
Cracking cases.
Nothing says I'm stalking you like a hidden camera.
The old-fashioned way. Jason Priestley.
Are you nuts?
It's a rental.
Private Eyes. Stream complete seasons on 9 now.
You ever get that feeling that one choice could change your whole life?
What if you chose passion?
And what is it that you want to do?
I'm going to be the next Billy Joel. Guy can dream, right?
What if you chose family?
You saved a man's life.
Your dad would be proud of you.
What if you chose love?
Can you believe we made him?
At least we did one thing right.
It's only natural to wonder what if.
Ordinary Joe. Stream every episode on 9 now.
I have a family that I have to get back to.
The wait
Gavin.
is over.
And I know that's something that you understand. Welcome home. We're being hunted.
No!
More sinkholes are coming.
How deep
Let's go!
does the mystery go?
You are never going to believe what happened.
La Brea Season 2. Stream the latest episodes on 9 now.
First online platform for women in basketball. From live mentoring sessions to panel sessions, exclusive interviews with the biggest names in the sport, education and upskilling courses, networking opportunities, and a whole lot more. And best of all, it's all free. Welcome to She Hoops.
Do not underestimate the power of a good blind. Take this exhausted couch. Now it stands before you. Magnifique. Even this cocktail of dead skin is gracefully waltzing. Da 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 da. DIY blinds. Change the ugly.
They donated toxic land to a school. Someone put it there, deliberately.
You said this case was unwinnable.
Don't make this personal. It's already personal. Dad, what happened here? There's something you're not telling me.
Burden of Truth. Stream complete seasons on 9 now.
Australia's superfish take on the world, going for gold in Melbourne. 180 countries over 6 days in one of world swimming's most prestigious events, the 16th FIBA World Swimming Champs. Live and free on 9 and 9 now.
Fighting. Period. Poverty. 1 in 5 Australian women are forced to improvise on period products.
Around 50% admitted to wearing a sanitary product for more than 4 hours because they didn't have enough to get by.
No person should ever go without these essentials.
Access to period products are a right, not a privilege.
This experience is more common than we think, but not spoken about enough.
We menstruate. Get over it. This season, we're supporting the charity Share the Dignity with their mission to end the stigma around periods and period poverty in Australia.
Visit the WNBL website for more.
And together, let's fight period poverty.
The biggest WNBL.
And second half action not too far from getting underway in Perth. And at half time, the visitors in the ascendancy. A nice little run for them just prior to half time. Allows them to have a 9-point lead heading into the third quarter. And Kayla George, Carrie, certainly have an outstanding game for the Boomers.
Wow, she's been impressive. You see her stats there, 18 points, 5 boards. She's shooting the ball at an exceptional clip, 7 of 10 from the field for 70%, 2 of 5 threes for 40%. You know, she's a leader. I spoke to Coach Chris Lucas today, and he coached her at Townsville when they won multiple championships there with Susie Bakovic, the great Opal legend that Kayla played under, and he said the growth in her as a person, as a leader, has been monumental. We know that she's now a new mum, you know, off the back of a world champs, and she's a mum, and he felt that the balance for her of, you know, parenting and playing basketball, that she's managing that exceptionally well, and we're seeing it tonight. She's out there having fun, leading from the front, scoring, having impact. She's an impressive player and a huge part of this Melbourne Boomers team.
So Kayla George, outstanding for the Boomers to half time. Mia Murray also making a strong contribution for the Boomers as well.
Yeah, she lit it up early in the game. But, you know, you can't give players like Mia Murray their favourite shot, a corner three. She's a three-point specialist. She lit it up. You know, interestingly, I mean, the Perth Lynx, you know they're going to shoot three-point shots. More than half of their attempts tonight are three-pointers. You know that. You've got to make sure that they're contested. And I think Melbourne Boomers, for the most part, have made sure they've had a hand on a lot of those three-point shots. Got loose a few times with some defensive rotations, or a little bit overcooked. But as we see here, you know, Sammy Whitcomb's led from the front for her team, shooting the ball exceptionally well. You know, her three-point shot isn't rolling, but she's made some other big buckets. You know, and there's been a bit of a spread for them. Chloe Bibby's been reasonably impressive. You know, I think they're going to have their hands full. I think there's a real risk of Melbourne opening it up in this. You know, traditionally, Chris Lucas coached teams start third quarters exceptionally well. They really tempo push. Let's see what's going to happen to start this third quarter.
So the Boomers will have the opening possession of the third quarter. The Cygnett WNBL coming to you this evening on 9 now. Richard Swenston and Carrie Graff with you in commentary. Greg Hyatt courtside. Kayla George thought about the three. Finds Wallace, looks to drive to the basket now. Pull-up jumper, short. Nelson Adoda comes up with the rebound and finishes it off. So the ideal start to the third period for the visitors. And once again, they extend the lead into double figures. Scherf. Whitcomb. Atwell. And Nelson Adoda.
Good D on the top side of that post position there. Used her length. Came up with a steal. Quality minutes from her.
George. Murray.
Melbourne playing with great composure in the half court, just executing, composed, poised.
Hand off to Mitchell from close range, and we'll get it to drop. The opening 4 points of the third quarter going the way of the Boomers.
Could be dangerous here this next minute or two. Interesting to see if Coach Petrick will pull the trigger on a timeout.
Scherf looking to drive to the basket. Kicks it out to Ryan now. Scherf comes away short with a shot. Atwell comes up with her own rebound, a little heavy with the second attempt. And the Boomers through Wallace. Push it up the floor quickly, still with Wallace. Wild old shot, doesn't fall for her. And Whitcomb with the rebound for the Lynx. Atwell. Bibby. Back to Atwell. Fires for three and hits it. Big shot required for the Lynx.
They needed that one. And another $50 to fighting period poverty.
And Mitchell loses possession of it. The Lynx come up with it. Ryan. Still with Robbie Ryan. Hands off. Bibby. Scherf. Little short range jumper. Can't get it to fall.
Nelson Adoda's been impressive in this opening part of this third quarter. Hands on the ball, coming with the steals, changing shots.
So Wallace, Nelson Adoda fires for two and gets the friendly bounce. And the Boomers back out by 12. Let's go courtside, Greg Hire.
There's a stark contrast in terms of these two teams and their possessions. Just seeing the Melbourne Boomers going side to side, getting the ball through hands, running a lot of screening action, whereas Lynx now I think it's 4 from 24 from the three-point line. They're not getting much. They need to get inside, maybe give it to Lauren Scherf inside for the post and have a little bit of presence in that regard.
So the foul called on Robbie Ryan. And Wallace for the Boomers. Handoff from Murray. Murray fires for three and nails it.
The veteran specialist is on fire.
Pass comes away. Whitcomb fires for three. And the counter punch from the Lynx.
The answer.
Now Wallace.
3 of 3 from the three-point line tonight.
Can't get it to fall. Whitcomb comes down with a rebound. Fires to Bibby. Fire for three. Back-to-back threes for the Lynx.
They stick to what they know. It's their game plan. We're going to shoot the three. We practice it. We shoot it. We're not going to die wondering.
Mitchell.
Keeps them in touch.
George Murray. Wallace. Nelson Adoda.
Likes the look of that one-on-one versus Scherf. Draws the foul. Will send herself to the free throw line.
So Scherf did all she could to try and not commit the foul, but in the end did so. Second team foul on the Lynx. None on the Boomers to start this third quarter. And can't get the first to fall, Nelson Adoda. Makes the second. So back to a 10-point margin.
We can now walk it up, see what she can get. Play off that high ball screen as we see the rim roll, but pull out from Scherf. Step back for the three.
Can't get that one to drop. And Kayla George comes up with the rebound for the Boomers. Hand off to Wallace. Finds George. Short range jumper. Whitcomb rebounds for the Lynx. Still with Whitcomb. Looking to go to work inside. Kicks it back out to Scherf. Scherf has it blocked by Nelson Adoda.
Not in this keyway.
And Perth retained possession.
Uses her length. Great shot blocker. Maintains space. Keeps her body away. Uses her length. Excellent shot blocking by Nelson Adoda.
So Sharp.
Sammy Whitcomb.
And Whitcomb hits another basket.
Signature move.
Back to 8 points the margin. It was out by as much as 15. Mitchell. Nice move from her, but short with the shot. Sharp with the rebound. Whitcomb now. Off balance jump shot. Can't get it to fall. Scherf crashes the board along with Atwell. Mitchell now. Pass comes away and they fire for three for Murray.
She's on fire. 100% from the three-point line. 4 of 4. Mark that spot for Mia Murray, the veteran three-point specialist, as Alex Sharp leans off the jumper.
So they stay within range, the Lynx. Mitchell now. Nelson Adoda has the ball tipped away. And Scherf.
Showing her point guard skills is the 6'6" Scherf.
Atwell thought about the three. Still with Amy Atwell. Whitcomb.
Mismatch down low, Scherf. Over Murray, doesn't make it.
And Nelson Adoda comes away with a rebound. Now, Wallace for the Boomers. Nice move from Wallace. Will be fouled on the way to the basket.
Great read, Christy Wallace. Rejects that ball screen, sees the baseline, rips it to the rim, gets herself to the free throw line.
So third team foul on the Lynx for the quarter. And Atwell will take a seat. Burrows coming back in for the Lynx. And Wallace will go to the line to shoot 2. Let's go courtside and Greg Hire.
Yeah, as we line up for Christy Wallace's free throws. A very interesting observation as she slipped by Sammy Whitcomb there. There was clearly confusion. Very animated conversations between Chloe Bibby, Sammy Whitcomb and Lauren Scherf. They definitely need to clear that up to not leak easy points.
Bibby finds Whitcomb for 3. Can't get it to fall. George with a rebound, and now the Boomers are off and running once again through Wallace. Inside pass.
Great seal. Bibby wrestling down low with Nelson Adoda. Mitchell forces one. Draws the foul.
So Mitchell saw an avenue to the basket, took it, fouled hard, and we'll go to the line to shoot 2. And Perth really starting to rack up the fouls in this third quarter.
4-zip the foul count.
So Mitchell makes the first.
%86 free throw career shooter.
And
true to form, strokes both.
The second one home. So they're out by 13. Burrows finds Scherf. Burrows off the screen. Still with Burrows. Tries to go inside. Delayed the pass a fraction. And that allowed the Boomers to get their hands in and deflect the ball away. George finds Wallace. Nelson Adoda
on the mismatch.
Has the ball taken by Whitcomb, and Whitcomb will be fouled. First team foul for the quarter on the Boomers.
Great help, Sammy Whitcomb. She recognised there was a mismatch down low. Alex Sharp found herself under the rim with Adoda posting her strongly. Whitcomb comes in and comes up with that play.
Burrows into the front court now for the Lynx. Scherf. Burrows had the opportunity to shoot for 3 and then short on the 2-point jump shot. Down the floor. And Burrows fires for 3. Can't get it to fall. The Lynx have it. Looking to drive to the basket, and a foul will be called. And Taya Burrows will go to the line to shoot 2. So second team foul for the quarter on the Boomers.
Mila Goodchild at the free throw line for the Melbourne Boomers. Oh, sorry, it's Burrows, you're right. It was Goodchild, the foul was on.
So Burrows short with the first. Gets the second. Margin back to 12.
Big 2 minutes here to finish out this third quarter from Perth. Can Melbourne push out this lead, go into the fourth with momentum as they execute? Mia Murray can't hit the pull-up jumper, but Goodchild comes up with the O-board. Big possession. Big possession play for the Melbourne Boomers.
Wallace finds George. George running jumper, can't get it to fall, and the Lynx will come up with the rebound. Comes away to Whitcomb.
Sammy Whitcomb now controlling tempo for her team.
Whitcomb inside to Edwards. Can't get the first one and has it knocked away by Kayla George. Great rejection. Murray.
Kayla George. Huge play. Massive block.
So Murray just trying to slip the backdoor pass to Wallace. Just a little too much on it. So the Lynx looking for a couple of baskets just to close this one as we approach three-quarter time. And DIY Blinds, Australian-made window furnishings that are designer quality at the best prices. Order your free samples today at diyblinds.com.au. So Whitcomb now. Inside, nice move, but Clinch Hoycard can't finish it off. And Wallace now.
Ooh, big screen by Panina Davis as Wallace pulls up for the jumper. Doesn't drop for her.
So Burrows now back up the floor for the Lynx. Looking for options, Whitcomb. Still with Sammy Whitcomb. Steps back, three-pointer. Can't get it to fall. Sharp underneath Burrows. Has it. And a good contest, Taya Burrows. And the foul called. Yep, let's go courtside to Greg Hire.
This next minute and a half is crucial for the Perth Lynx to try and bring it down under 10 points. Obviously a great offensive there by Alex Sharp, but the Perth Lynx are really punishing themselves right there. Sammy Wickham back-to-back fantastic passes, one's to Jesse Edwards, next Kenzie Hayward, and they really need to consolidate that conversion on the end because that's easy buckets. They could have brought them down to 8 points.
Comes back to Bibby, fires for the long range three, can't get it to fall. And Ryan thought she'd done enough to retain possession for the Lynx, but it'll be a Boomers ball. Good look for Bibby, but just couldn't finish it off. And Burrows will be fouled by Ryan. 15 foul on the Lynx for the quarter.
Good child.
Sophie Burrows.
No, good child. Mila Goodchild played college basketball at Duke. Recent re-signing for the Melbourne Boomers.
And the margin extended out to 13. And hits both. So 14 points the margin. Under a minute left to play in the third quarter. Bibby. Ryan. Drives to the basket, kicks it out. And it comes off. Murray does it? No. Just a loose pass. So the Boomers will have possession.
Big possession here for the Boomers. 3 possession game into this third quarter. Could they go into the last quarter with a 16-point lead?
So the Boomers up the floor. Pressure exerted by Ryan. Good child. Finds Murray. Back to Murray, who's having a nice shooting night. Can't get one to fall, but Mitchell with a rebound back out to Murray. Fires for 3. Can't get that one to drop, but Kayla George, strong work. Fires another opportunity for the Boomers. And Atwell now for the Lynx. They need something to finish off the quarter. Atwell, nice move, can't get it to rattle home. Still with Atwell, finds Ryan. Sharp Time running out. Nice move from Sharp and is fouled on the way to the basket. Will go to the line and shoot 2 with 1.3 seconds left in the third quarter.
Big play for Sharp to get on the rim then. Keep her team in touch. Can she nail these 2 free throws? Send them into the fourth quarter, only 12 points down.
So Sharp to go to the line. Makes the first. And hits the second. So George thinks about it. And time runs out. So 3-quarter time in Perth. And the Boomers with a 12-point lead. 64 plays 52, Carrigraph.
Yeah, look, I think Coach Petrick will want to talk about some of their defensive rotations. We heard Greg Hire mention their, lack of communication, sometimes a bit of confusion on how they were defending the ball screen action. Those last few possessions didn't get bodies on and block outs, as we see the Melbourne Boomers stats here. Kayla George leading the way with 18, 7 of 12 shooting, a double-double with 18 and 11. Mia Murray, we know, has got the hot hand, 16. Tiff Mitchell chiming in for a sneaky 13. And look, Nelson Adoda's been impressive, I think, at the defensive end and doing the little things. Hands on the ball, unlucky not to have more than 2 steals in my mind. And Miller Goodchild stepping in there and coming up with a couple of good buckets.
So Murray, 4 from 5 from 3-point territory. It's been outstanding for the Boomers in this game.
$200 for fighting period poverty.
And the Lynx, well, they've got a long way to come back from if they're to get themselves back into this game, but we know they've certainly got some 3-point firepower out there if it gets going. But I guess that's the question, if.
Yeah, they're 7 of 31 at 22%, but I mean, that doesn't shy them away from taking it. That we see Scherf settling for the 3 more often than rim rolling. It's part of their game plan. They're happy to shoot. Like I said, more than 50% or close to 50% of their attempts are 3-pointers. They're 12 of 33 from 2-point range and 7 of 31 from 3-point range.
So as the fourth quarter action about to get underway in the Cygnett WNBL, Richard Swenson and Carrie Graff with you in commentary this evening, and Greg Hire courtside. Let's go courtside, Greg Hire.
Really pleasing to see Kayla George be extremely animated, not pleased with how they finish off that quarter. They felt like they let the Perth Lynx a little back into the game. Chris Lucas spoke about not rushing the shots, not taking early shots, taking predictable shots and running out the clock. And we saw that. Spoke about ball going side to side. He really is proud of their effort on the defensive end, holding the Perth Lynx to 16 points. So look to see that happen straight away.
So Whitcomb finds Scherf. Back inside to Scherf from Ryan. Backs away in towards the basket. Can't get to fall. Second chance opportunity. And Scherf gets that one to drop. Margin back to 10.
When you got 6'6", you see they're clearly out of that quarter time. Coach Petrick has said we want to get something inside to Scherf. She takes it as we see Murray launch it from the 3-point line in the quarter. Another row board. Goodchild comes up with the possession for the Melbourne Boomers.
So Mitchell called for the travel.
Scherf goes to work down low, gets her own board, gets an easy put back for 2. At that size, she's got to have more of a mix of low post play to go with her great perimeter shooting. The rest of the team can stroke the 3 as well. Her size is unique.
So Ryan, Bibby sets the screen. Back to Bibby. Atwell now looks for the lane to the basket. Has the ball rejected. And Murray to bring it up the court for the Boomers. George finds Goodchild. Underneath Davidson. Strong move from her and gets it to drop.
Good penetration from Goodchild. Finds a little dump pass inside to Davidson with a finish.
And Whitcomb will be fouled and goes to the line to shoot 2.
Sammy Whitcomb's use of her body is superb. She finds a way to get, once she's got half a step in front of her defender, she leans in, controls momentum, finds a great finish, draws a foul. She's just a class act.
So Whitcomb goes to the line to shoot 2.
And an
rattles the first one home. Second to come and makes that one. So again, the margin stays around the 10-point margin.
Perth can hang around. You know, you talk about shooting percentage, maybe up, down. They can go 7 of 31 and turn that around from 22% to 30 in no time. You know, their shooters are that good. They can get a little run, nail 3 threes in a row, and suddenly you're back in a game.
Mitchell. George swings it around to Murray. Davidson wants to go inside.
Cutting action, superb from the Melbourne Boomers. They catch a head turn from their defender and they cut him behind. Great read by Tiff Mitchell.
So she'll go to the line to shoot 2. 1 team foul apiece in this fourth quarter. And Mitchell. Another terrific performance from her this evening.
Probably been a little quiet in her standards, you know, when we're conditioned to her scoring. You know, she's averaging 24 per game, but, you know, when the rest of your team is stepping up, but she stays engaged.
So Davidson, strong rebound, foul by Bibby. And Davidson now will go to the line to shoot 2.
And this Melbourne Boomers team have, you know, players that play a great role. Lady right there on screen, Panini Davidson, comes in, does the hard work things, sets great screens, comes up with possessions like that one.
So Davidson makes the first. Margin back to 12.
And we need to remember this Melbourne Boomers team, last year's champion team. They're without Tess Madgen, one of their veterans, key leaders, still working through a knee injury, probably a few weeks away from being back on the court as Sammy Whitcomb goes to the step back 3.
Can't get that one to drop. And Whitcomb now follows it up. Nice pass off. And Atwell with the layup. So the margin back to 10 once again.
Involved in everything, Sammy Whitcomb.
Mitchell, pull-up jumper. Lovely basket from Tiff Mitchell.
Just as you say, it's quiet by her terms. She says, well, actually, no, it's not. I'll give you this.
Bibby kicks it back out to Ryan. Goes to work on Murray inside. Can't get it to fall.
The vet says, I can defend as well as shoot the 3. Keeps her man in front, uses her length.
Good child. Mitchell. Short range jumper from her. Can't get it to fall. Great work underneath. Davidson once again with the putback.
1 versus 3. 1 versus 3 on the rebound, Panini Davidson. What a great role play. Effort plays, feeding the paint. Finds easy buckets for her team to get them back out to 12.
Sure fires for 3, can't hit it. Whitcomb with the putback. She's having a wow of a game. Sammy Whitcomb. Let's go courtside, Greg Hire.
Generally, when you talk about the Boomers, you're going to talk about Kayla George, Tiffany Mitchell. But you're exactly right, Carrie. Panini Davidson and even Goodchild in those moments are having a tremendous impact into this game. They're coach killers. Panini Davidson's kept the ball alive numerous times, and when this game is coming close to it, her tenacity on the offensive rebounds is providing a huge spark for this Melbourne Boomers outfit.
So the Boomers looking to inbound it. Davidson. Wallace. Hits the basket. Lovely shot.
Good read, Christy Wallace. Saw that the Perth Lynx defender had gone underneath. She just steps back and gets that mid-range jumper.
Whitcomb inside to Scherf. Can't get it to drop. George with a rebound. And now the Boomers will look to settle things down. George. Murray. Davidson.
Good ball movement, Melbourne Boomers. Patient, poised. And then Kayla George says, well, I think we need another $50 for the fighting period poverty.
So Kayla George continuing her terrific evening. Hits the big 3. And the Boomers are out by 17. Kayla George, 18 points, 13 rebounds. Just a tremendous all-round game for the Boomers tonight.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'd never write the Perth Lynx off. They've got people that can shoot it. Sammy Whitcomb can make things happen, but big margin now with 17 to go, but it only takes, 3 threes from the Perth Lynx and suddenly they're back in the ball game. But the Melbourne Boomers outfit have certainly shown improvement, particularly in this third quarter. Tiff Mitchell, we think she's quiet. She steps up, hits a couple of jumpers. I think they've tightened up their defence. The ball's getting moved through sets of hands. They're executing well in the half court. Really controlling tempo.
The Aussie Hoops program has had its biggest year to date, with over 42,000 participants registering to a local Aussie Hoops centre nearby. Aussie Hoops is the perfect introduction to the world of basketball for kids aged 5 to 10 years. Whether your little one is a seasoned basketball fan or simply looking to get out there and give it a go, we have no doubt they'll have an absolute ball of a time. Register now to kickstart your basketball journey. So the Lynx. Atwell. Let's go courtside, Greg Hire, and find out what was said in that last timeout.
Yeah, there's obviously a disgust or anger towards the lineup in regards to their pick and roll coverage. They can put whatever they want in there, but they're just blowing it every single time. And the attention to detail, Tiffany Mitchell's not renowned as a shooter. Hard closeouts where she's ended up forcing a rotation that's not needed. Those little things are really hurting the Perth Lynx.
Kayla George up to 23 points as Whitcomb launches the long bomb.
And Sharp, athletic through the air, can't come up with the rebound. And the Boomers will get possession. And I'm sure Coach Lucas will want to finish this game out strongly and have a dominant win for the second time in Perth this season. Yeah, absolutely. And look, Chris Lucas feels this team's still got a long way to go. They've got players to add in. They're still finding their feet as a group with a new coach. Even though some at the core have played together, it's a new coach with a new system. As Tiff Mitchell shoots a little turnaround, he still feels like they've got a lot of growth to go. So there'll be a lot of things that he's happy with, but like most coaches, they're never happy, as we see Chloe Bibby on the inside with a little reverse and finish. Nice pass from Lauren Scherf. Gets the assist. But the Boomers now, with under 5 minutes left to play, happy to slow things down at the offensive end. Nelson Adoda fires for 2. Mitchell, smart play, bats the ball back. Possession's been huge for the Melbourne Boomers in this second half. They're smaller players as Christy Wallace slips on a sweaty floor. Hopefully she hasn't hurt her groin. Looking a little ginger, but looks to be okay. And straight away the officials are in there to blow the whistle, stop play, and just have it cleaned up. As we see Kayla George leading, instructing her team as to what they need to be doing next, not wasting the time out to have a power out. So 17 points the margin. Mia Murray inbounds the pass. George. Good hands, Chloe Bibby. And they get the stop, the Lynx. And the Boomers maybe just not fully aware that the shot clock was running down so low. Whitcomb. Top of the key. Sharp finds Scherf. Looks to drive to the basket. Then Scherf will get the lucky bounce and puts it back in for another 2. Lynx still hanging around. Back to 15. George. Nelson Adoda tries to go back in the direction of George. Does so. Almost a bit of a hopeful scoop there from Kayla George. Now running the floor. Pass comes away. Whitcomb fires for 3. Can't get it to drop. Murray, strong defensive rebound. Wallace. Driving to the basket. Good, strong move from Wallace. Finishes it off. The Lynx shooting under 20% from the 3-point line. Continue to let it fly.
8 from 36 from the three-point line tonight. As Atwell launches again, not to go.
And the rebound taken by Murray.
Christy Wallace controlling tempo.
Mitchell. Good ball movement. Murray.
Clinic now for the Melbourne Boomers. Controlling tempo, exposing the defence, moving the ball around. Perth Lynx looking fatigued.
Let's go courtside, Greg Hire.
You just have to be impressed with the way the Melbourne Boomers are approaching this game. They're clinical, they're getting the ball through their hands, and it's just an absolute joy to watch. With that, though, I need to clarify a comment regarding Tiffany Mitchell, where I said she's not known as a shooter. I'd like to clarify that, not known as a three-point shooter, but she's an exceptional, maybe one of the world's best in the mid-range game. But if I've upset anyone on the telecast, just to clear that one up, guys.
Comments there from Greg Hire. Timeout called. Both coaches just wanting to talk things over. But the Boomers, certainly a very comprehensive performance in the end from them. And well, Perth, we know they love to almost live or die by the three-point shot at times, and tonight it just hasn't worked out for them.
No, that's right. I mean, shooting, 8 from 37 from the three-point line, that's not going to get it done for you when a team like this are then executing the other end and conversely shooting the three well themselves. The Melbourne Boomers, 8 of 18 for 44%. 51% from the two, 24 of 47. Their efficiency offensively, and we've seen that grow through the course of the game, moving the ball, understanding where the chinks might be if there's a defensive breakdown. I think their execution's been superb, particularly in this fourth quarter. See what Coach Petrick's come out of the timeout with, continuing to coach his team with under 3 minutes to play with a decent margin, but there's still things that this team can learn and try and execute down the stretch.
So possession with the Boomers. Just under 3 minutes left to play.
Horns action for the Melbourne Boomers.
Mitchell going to work. Pull-up jumper from Tiff Mitchell. Can't get it to fall. Scherf with another rebound. Has options up the floor. Looking for some movement. Pass comes in the direction and taken away by Wallace, who'll drive to the basket. Left-handed layup, and Scherf had to stay out of the play. She's on 4 fouls. Whitcomb now. Finds Scherf top of the key. Back inside to Whitcomb. Oh, lovely cut. Deserved a better result. Sharp with the putback. So 19 points the margin. Tick under 2 minutes left to play. Mitchell. George. Backdoor pass.
Wow.
Oh, lovely work. And Nelson Adoda gets the basket and is fouled. Will go to the line to shoot the bonus. That is clinical.
Execution, reading, making counter-attack. Chris Lucas will have that on the highlight reel for the video session this week. So we see mass subs here. Ryan Petrick clearing the bench, resting the starters. Not risking injury to any of those key players. Give the young players an opportunity to play out these last few minutes.
So Nelson Adoda hits the bonus. Burrows for the Lynx. Looking for options. Clinch Hoycard fires for 3. Gets it to friendly roll and drop.
We'll take another $50. Thank you very much for fighting period poverty.
Doesn't matter how they look like on the highlight reel. If it goes in, that's all that matters.
Both teams' benches on the floor now for junk time. As a young player, though, you take what you can get.
So the Lynx force the turnover. Burrows. Earlier tonight it was a thrilling win by Bendigo over Townsville by 2 points as Burrows, nice move from her, left-handed layup is up and in. Back to 17 the margin. So the Bendigo Spirit move to 4 and zip. and are the sole competition leaders at the end of the evening, but a terrific match against the Townsville Fire. And the Boomers, well, they're showing that they're certainly going to be up there in contention. Second win this season in Perth. Burrows looking to drive to the basket. Nice move from her. Forster, three-point attempt, in and out.
Good child, pushing tempo.
Tries to get the better of Gandini. Brewster. Ball movement from the Boomers. Good child, fires for two. Can't get it to fall, and Clinch Hoycard with the rebound for the Lynx. Fires the pass away to Burrows. Edwards drives to the basket. Nice move.
Found a way, last possession for the Melbourne Boomers. Let's see if it can be a three-point shot to finish off this game. Get us a last $50 for the fighting period poverty round.
So Good Child running down the clock. May look to get a shot away. Still with Good Child, kicks it out. Opportunity on the buzzer, won't fall. And full time in Perth. And a convincing win to the Melbourne Boomers. And they now move to 4-1 for the season. So 88 plays 73. And some star performers for the visitors tonight. None better, though, than Kayla George.
Yeah, wow, what a night out she had tonight. 23 points, 9 of 16 at 56%, 3 of 6 from the three-point line at 50%, 13 boards to go with her 23 points, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Wow. You know, she led from the front. She was all over everything, leading her team. We see the stat line there. Massive night from her tonight. Clearly the MVP. Mia Murray started off for the Melbourne Boomers with a hot hand. Veteran three-point shooter. Has played a bulk of her career under Coach Chris Lucas at Townsville. Now sees herself here in the twilight of her career. Shot the ball exceptionally well. 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Was 100% for a while there. Tiff Mitchell showed she's classy. Was, you know, as we mentioned, probably slow starting for her, but a little hard when everyone else has got the rock and making big shots. But she showed her worth. You know, that mid-range game of hers is superb. Christy Wallace again was impressive. Didn't shoot the ball as well tonight, but 11 assists from her. You know, that execution that the Melbourne Boomers showed in that, particularly that fourth quarter, was impressive to watch.
Well, let's go courtside and Greg Heyer.
Thanks, guys. As we bring in the star of the show, Kayla George is joining us after an absolutely sensational game. Kayla George, 23 and I think it was 13 points. Congratulations on a fantastic win. Obviously, Motherhood is treating well. How does that result treat for you tonight?
Yeah, Chris all week was telling us we need to win the series, so I'm really happy that we got to win the series, but we also have another game against them later in the season. But yeah, Motherhood's treating me well. I'm a bit tired. But yeah, I mean, the jet lag coming over to the west is a bit rough, but no, it's all good.
Obviously, I was impressed. The third quarter leading to the fourth, I was watching the timeout and the middle of that bit, and you were tenacious in terms of your approach. Is that what this is the start of the season you're building? What are you trying to employ with your team right now?
Yeah, I think you know, combating momentum changes. Obviously, they're very natural in the game to have many momentum changes, and I think if we can just combat that quickly and get, you know, back to our momentum, shifting the game towards our, you know, dub, then that's kind of what we want, quick bounce backs to momentum shifts.
Mia Murray, I loved her start of the game, and I loved your motivation. It was like you it was yearning for that moment for her. I mean, what did she mean to this team for you guys? Yeah,
she's a really good human. She's one of my favourite people, and I've known her for almost 2 decades, and it was a real great get for us to have her here at Boomers, and I really pushed for her to be here, and I'm so happy to be able to play with her again. We won 3 championships together, with the Fire, played together at AOS, and so, you know, she's still getting buckets, she's still, you know, playing her best basketball. So, and she's a mum too, so we've got, you know, a bit of a craze happening at the Boomers, so that's what we love. But yeah, she's a legend human as well, so I think culturally we just have a lot of fun. We've recruited really good people, and we've got a great culture to work off and hopefully build and continue to try and get a back-to-back, which is really tough, but we're trying.
Absolutely, and obviously what a fantastic initiative, the Fighting Period Poverty. Do you want to speak about the importance of that, and as you women, as incredible advocates in the community, what does this sort of round mean to you guys?
Yeah, I think any type of round that we do here in the WNBL raises awareness, and I think that's what it's about, because sometimes it's not even spoken about, it's a bit of taboo, but I think, we've got the t-shirts, and I think the WNBL is selling them too, and it's just a starting point to conversation. It's really important.
Awesome, congratulations mate, well done.
Thank you so much, appreciate it.
So Greg
What an
High
absolute
with
sensational
Kayla
game we
George.
had here at the Bendat Basketball Centre. Obviously Kayla George was an absolute superstar. Thanks guys.
So Greg High there with Kayla George, who had an outstanding game tonight, Carrie, for the Melbourne Boomers, and they continue on their merry way, now move to 4-1.
Yeah, look, they were impressive. Look, I thought it was a good, it was a pretty even contest through that first half, but Melbourne just, stepped on the gas. Their execution was brilliant. They moved the ball well. They had various contributors across the floor, and they'll get better and better. As we heard earlier, they'll Tess Madgen to add back into their group.
Let's go courtside, Greg Hire.
I didn't know you were doing these.
What's that?
I didn't know you were doing that.
11 points, 11 assists. She was an absolutely tenacious defender all game, and I thought she was the engine room of this game. We've got Christy Wallace here with us. What an outcome. How did that feel?
Unreal. It's always tough coming to Perth. They're a great team, and to get away with the win, we're pretty happy with it.
We talk about you guys being relentless for 4 quarters. Like, I love that, with 3 minutes left, still moving the ball. Obviously setting the standards early in the season. You've come across as a boom recruit, no pun intended, but how's it been for the start of the season?
Yeah, really good. And tonight it was just about winning each quarter. We just focused on every quarter that was coming ahead of us. But yeah, I'm loving being a part of the Boomers team. It's a great organisation, love the team, happy here.
You've obviously got Christy Harrow, the assistant coach. How's that, like having a mentor guidance in terms of that point guard position?
She is incredible. And to just have her knowledge in a game and in training, I'm soaking it up. Very lucky to have her as my assistant. It's pretty impressive.
And lastly, I thought start of the game, real strong focus, Nelson Agoda, and I thought she was obviously on the defensive end, she's a prowess there, but that impact initially early in the piece to get them in a foul trouble, was that a key focus on your end?
Yeah, big for us. We wanted to get it into her, to work the key, and she did a really good job.
Awesome, congratulations mate, absolutely hell of a game. Thanks mate.
Cheers.
Thanks very much to Greg Hire, courtside in Perth. A comprehensive win in the end to the Melbourne Boomers over the Perth Lynx, 88-73. But some final comments, Carrie.
Yeah, look, I think we've said it all. It was an impressive first half from both teams. Melbourne Boomers took it away, I think, with their offensive execution. As we see the stats there, big difference. The rebound count, I think the second efforts from the Boomers on the glass in that fourth quarter were impactful for them. 21 assists, clearly speaks their ability to move the ball and execute. But the three-point percentage was the biggie. Perth Lynx at 21%, and more than 50% of their attempts were three-pointers. Boomers shot a great clip at 42% from the three-point line. 15-point win to the Melbourne Boomers. That was a hell of a contest.
So the Boomers, they continue their march up the competition ladder. The Perth Lynx, well, they'll have to reset and adjust after that loss. They'd won 2 in a row coming into the game. They dropped to 2-3, but still early days in the competition and very much a chance for the finals.
Yeah, look, I think it's, the top 4 is looking like it might be, where it's at. Can Adelaide push for they're playing well, but haven't got all the wins they need just yet. But the next 3 or 4 weeks is going to be interesting. A lot of those teams in the top 4 group are starting to hit the road. We see, the teams last night, Bendigo are on the road. They play in Sydney on the weekend as well. So it's, the next few weeks I think could see a little bit of chop and change in that top 4 spot. But I think the 4 teams sitting right now are making a statement about where they're going to head in the next chunk of this WNBL season.
So it's been a tremendous night of basketball, Carrie. A great game earlier on in the evening between Bendigo and Townsville, and Bendigo just getting home by the couple of points. But it was a close game all throughout the evening. And in our second game tonight, the Boomers doing the job on the Perth Lynx. So, that first game in particular, really a standout. We expected it to be a terrific game, 1 and 2 on the competition ladder, and that's exactly what we got.
Yeah, it was. I mean, all the games this round have been pretty impressive, I've got to say. But The game early tonight was a massive one, an arm wrestle, two top teams, great defence, great one-on-one contest, and that's what this, is the strength of this league. The quality of the playing talent is superb. We've got, international players, a lot of players out of the WNBA, a lot of the Opals that we saw, Kayla George and Opal on fire tonight. It's just a classy game of basketball. This WNBL is a legitimate, world-class league.
Well, that wraps up our coverage on 9 Now this evening of the Cygnett WNBL. Earlier tonight it was a win to Bendigo over Townsville by 2 points. In the second game for broadcast this evening, the Melbourne Boomers have beaten the Perth Lynx 88-73. Thanks very much to Kate Gaze courtside in Townsville, Greg Heyer courtside in Perth, and thanks to Carrie Graff. This is Richard Swenson signing off. But full time from Perth, the Boomers 88 have beaten the Lynx 73.